Welcome back to the vlog, y'all. It has been a couple of weeks since my last video, but this video is going to be another What I Eat in a Week diet update video. And I know none of y'all are gonna be shocked when I tell you that I'm changing my diet up once again. Even though I said that I wouldn't, I'm changing my diet again. But there is a very good reason for why I'm changing my diet again. I completely stopped tolerating everything that I was eating on the fully liquid diet. So the nutrition shakes, I completely stopped tolerating them. I was throwing them up, like fully throwing them up every time that I was drinking them. And on top of that, after about a week and a half of doing the green smoothie with the mango, pineapple, and greens every day, I started having allergic reactions to the smoothie, which is not shocking because I am allergic to mango, but I have to eat a lot of it to have an allergic reaction. I kind of forgot that I was allergic to it and that I kept drinking that smoothie over and over again. And then I started having a swollen throat when I drank it, and I was having trouble breathing when I drank the smoothies. So I had to stop drinking the smoothie and the protein shakes. So I had to basically stop doing every single thing that I was doing because I wasn't tolerating any of it anymore. And I went back to eating solid food, and that did not go entirely well because I was feeling pretty sick. But I have found an approach to eating solid food that I'm going to try this week that I think will help. I'm basing my diet changes off of the principles in this book called Digest This. It is by Brittany Urgate. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. She's now married, so her name is Brittany Urgate Cameron, and she has a Instagram page. So if you want to follow her on Instagram, it's like little sipper or little slipper. I'll put the Instagram handle. But basically, she had all the same issues that I have had and more. She actually had gastroparesis and healed from it naturally with the principles in this book. And I have not found anyone at all who has done that. Quite honestly, I'm not following her gut guide to a T at all. I'm just taking in some of the principles and making them work for my life, my food preferences, my tolerances, and my limitations. One of my limitations that I have to admit is that I cannot cook meat. My OCD is too bad. I cannot cook meat, and I'm just admitting to that. That is just the truth, and I'm just not gonna cook meat. So I need to read the book fully, and then I might change this diet up and do more of the things that she suggests. But what I'm starting with is bone broth every day, cooked vegetables, good healthy animal fats every day, and getting enough electrolytes every day. That's what I'm trying to focus on. That's what I'm starting with. I'm not totally diving into her diet because that would be super overwhelming to me, especially with my OCD and my work schedule. So I'm starting with what I can handle. Today is Sunday. It's like the end of the day on Sunday. It's like 6 p.m. or 6:30 right now. The reason I'm starting the vlog today is because I am prepping a soup that I'm going to eat for lunch and dinner every day this week. So I want to show what I'm prepping because I'm going to be eating it all week. So I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to start by showing you the types of bone broth that I'm putting in this soup because I'm using 3 different types of bone broth. Let me just show you the bone broths. The different types of bone broths that are going in this soup are this chicken bone broth from Bonafide. This is a kettle and fire bone broth, again, a chicken one that I bought quite a while ago that I just need to use up. So that's going in this soup. This is the homemade beef bone broth that I made a few months ago that's been in the freezer. If you want to see the video on that, it is in the description where I made this by myself and I documented it for the channel. I've done a lot of research, and the Bonafide bone broth is the absolute best bone broth available at the store. That is not homemade. And the person that started the company used the bone broth to help heal her son's digestive issues. It's an amazing story. I'll link a podcast about it in the description below. I trust that brand. That is the best bone broth. If you saw the video where I made my own bone broth, it took an entire weekend, plus I was still cleaning up from it multiple days after I made it, just doing all the dishes, sanitizing everything. It was incredibly exhausting, incredibly hard on me from an OCD perspective, and I will never make bone broth myself again. I'm glad that I made it myself though that one time because it makes me appreciate buying it at the store way more, and it makes me realize that the price of it at the store is worth it because it's super, super, super hard to make yourself. The kettle and fire bone broth is also good. I've used it in the past. I used to make a lot of soups with it back in the fall, last fall. It's not as good as Bonafide, but it's still moderately good. and I had that one left from the fall, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use that in this soup and use it up. And then obviously I'm using what I have left of my homemade bone broth because I made it myself. I put all that effort into it. Obviously I'm going to use it up. That's thoughts on bone broth, and that's why I'm using the bona fide kind going forward once I finish up what I made myself. Onto the soup. This is how much of the ghee that I've used up. Probably a good quarter to a third of this jar is going in this soup right now. That's how much ghee we're using, getting all those good animal fats in here. All that ghee is melting down with some garlic. And now I'm cutting up my 2 onions.
10 inches.
Alrighty. So long. I've never seen a celery this long. No!
You okay?
Yes. I almost tripped on the celery that I dropped. I like wiped out on it almost, but I'm okay. I've recovered. I'm gonna cut the celery now. Check out the video. These are some big boys too. I got big produce. This is all organic too, and it's like large. All right. Ah. I feel like the viewers are gonna watch this and be like, I'm amazed she didn't cut her hand off. Like, I feel like that's gonna be what the viewers think. I'm very good at cutting stuff, guys, I promise. They're probably like, I don't know, she seems pretty unhinged. All right. I have injured myself? After I said that I wouldn't injure myself, I decided to cut with better knife technique by keeping my hands out of the field of cutting like I should have done the whole time. I regret my flouting of knife technique. A lot of vegetables ended up going in this. Also, y'all, I've been intermittently salting it, and we haven't filmed that, but I have been intermittently giving it a good little salt, and then I've been stirring it. Anyway, we're adding the final vegetable. I purchased 2 heads of cabbage at the store. I'm only using 1 head of cabbage. Then I'm just gonna take off the outer leaves. Or the outer leaf, I guess. Well, I guess there's kind of 2 outer leaves. And we're not gonna hurt ourselves this time. The core. Hopefully the cabbage cooks down because that 1 head of cabbage really filled up the pot. I had intended this to be more of like a broth with a few vegetables in it, and I went overboard. You guys know me, and I go overboard with everything, so hopefully I can fit as much bone broth in there as I wanted to, but I'm just gonna put all the different kinds of bone broth that I have around the house, just all the ones that I showed you. I'm gonna throw those all in, put a lid on it, and we're just gonna simmer it for like an hour. This soup is finally done. Whew, look at that. I just turned the heat off, so it's gonna cool down for a little bit. And in the oven, I have been cooking some potatoes, which you can't really see because the oven light's not on, but there are potatoes in there. So I cannot believe how much soup this made. I had washed 4 sets of super cubes. One of them is already in the freezer. and I'm gonna end up filling up all the cubes, but also I have filled up 2 of these and a lunch size container for lunch tomorrow. So many containers, so much soup. Good morning, y'all. It is Monday morning. The first things that I'm having some coconut water, and I've dissolved a bit of salt in there, and this is to start my day with electrolytes. I have been waking up for weeks with a headache in the morning, and when I actually start my day with electrolytes, it really, really helps. I actually did not wake up with a headache today, and I had 2 cups of this in the morning yesterday. So we're gonna keep on with that. Then I'm going to take my Linzess, and I'm also going to take this multivitamin. So I've had this for a while. I bought this a while ago, and the reason that I haven't really messed with it until now is because the first couple times that I took it, I threw up the pills, and it was super, super, super gross. So I haven't had vomiting in in quite a few days, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep these pills down, and if so, I'll try to take this multivitamin regularly. I'm already feeling a little bit better since having my electrolytes. This coconut water is kind of almost to the end. There's like a little bit left in it. So I'm just gonna finish it off with a little bit more salt, and then I'm going to actually make a breakfast. I've been having this in the mornings when I first wake up for a handful of mornings, and it's working super well lately. So it's probably a little counter to the book because I don't think the book recommends soy, but whatever. It's delicious, and it sits super well with me. So this is raw Ceremonial Cacao. It is full of tons of minerals, and it just tastes really good, and it's a great way to start the morning. I have found there's a little bit of caffeine in it, not too much. I've found it helps with my motility immensely, and it also just tastes delicious. So I'm gonna have 25 grams of this, and then I'm also going to add, and this is a recommendation from Bethany's book, as she says that you should have either collagen, gelatin, or L-glutamine once a day, either all 3 or one of them. All I have in the house is collagen. I have experimented with collagen on and off throughout my journey. I've never found a way to use it that I particularly love. So I have 2 things of collagen, and they both have plenty of collagen in them because I've used it sparingly, but I'm gonna try to start using it regularly. I'm not gonna do a whole serving. I'm gonna do half a serving. So I'm gonna do 1 scoop, and 1 scoop has 10 grams of protein. So to this, I like to add a little bit of ginger, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of cardamom, a little bit of cayenne, and a little bit of nutmeg. I add all these spices to it to make it taste really good. And then at this point, I add 1 1/4 cups of soy milk. This is sweetened soy milk, which I don't normally buy, but I bought it on a whim the other day. Once I finish this up, I'll be making it with unsweetened soy milk, which has a little bit more protein in it, 1 gram more. I think it's really creamy, and it's my favorite non-dairy milk, honestly. It also has super simple ingredients, literally just soybeans, some sugar, and some water. So yeah, I'm gonna add the spices and the soy milk to here. At this point, I packed the 2 meals that I planned to eat at work. Meal number 1, which I had around 11 to 11:30, was 3.5 ounces of good quality sharp cheddar cheese, as well as some lightly steamed snow peas with some salt on them. My second meal, which I had around 3 to 3:30, maybe a little earlier than that on this day, actually around 2:30, but it didn't sit as well because I didn't have enough time between the cheese and the soup, but I learned that. So anyway, meal number 2 was the soup with some baked potato on top. So I just got home from work, and so I'm gonna have a bowl of soup before Robert and I go on our evening walk. And the soup is kind of like an aspic texture, which I think means the bone broth is really good. So that's awesome. And I kind of realized that it wasn't salty enough when I had it at lunch. So I'm gonna add some extra salt before I microwave it. I'm also going to add a little bit of extra ghee. Oh, it got really hard in the fridge. Well, the amount that I could get out. So maybe like a little extra teaspoon of ghee on the top, just for some extra fats. Kind of wanted to add more than that, but it's kind of hard. I don't feel like dealing with it. So anyway, I'm gonna microwave this, and then this is going to be my dinner. Are you gonna really film this whole? All right. Oh yay, my soup. It's really hot. I should have gotten 2 mittens. Mistakes have been made. What? Oh, it's hot. Robert, stop filming it. Oh, why do I keep hurting myself? It's really, really a lot better with the extra ghee and the extra salt. So I think I'm gonna start doing that for my lunch portions as well. What are you doing?
It's these little human moments that really make the vlogs, and I like capturing them.
I'm just washing my hands over like a sink of dirty dishes that I need to wash.
That's what makes you relatable.
Oh my goodness. Where is my sunflower butter? I put it in the fridge somewhere. Here we are. So we went on our walk, and we left for our walk at like 6:40, and now it's like 8:10. It's been like an hour and a half. And I'm extremely hungry. I don't know what is happening. That soup definitely digested, and I'm so hungry. So I'm gonna have a snack. I'll have some sunflower butter. And on our walks, like sometimes we walk to this neighborhood that's like really nice, and sometimes we walk to this.
That neighborhood's that way, Whole Foods is this way. You can't see which way I'm pointing.
Okay, well, whatever. There's like 2 different ways that we go. It's kind of like a split like this.
Well, it's more like that way and that way. Could you point in the appropriate directions?
This way and this way?
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is. But anyway, Robert got some dinner, and while he was getting dinner, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Like, I got hungry like 30 minutes into the walk. So I walked to the Whole Foods, and I got this giant thing of dates, because when you're hungry, you buy giant things. But also, these were on sale, and this entire thing of dates is only $8, which never happens. Dates are normally so expensive, and these were $8. So I'm fine with buying a month's worth of dates, because it was the same price as like a few dates. So we have sunflower butter. I don't know why I'm wielding a knife like this. We have some chocolate pieces. Oh, these are smaller than I thought they were gonna be. Wow, this will last a long time. I guess I got a lot. I'll have enough snacks for a long time. So chocolate pieces. I'm so hungry. I don't know what is happening. I'm also like not bloated at all. I feel like I just want to illustrate this. Like the bloating's been a big point of conversation, and like my stomach is flat and I'm so hungry. I don't know what this diet's doing to me, but it's doing something good. Okay. I need to wash my hands again because I touched the outside of all the containers, so I don't need to film that part. All right, so you take the pit out. Then I washed the spoon while I was washing my hands, so it wasn't like totally wasted. Then I'm gonna put some sunflower butter in there. And then I'm gonna put a couple of these little guys. And then we're just gonna eat it. It's really good.
Are dates basically prunes?
No, they're different.
So prunes are dried plums.
Mm-hmm.
And raisins are dried grapes.
Mm-hmm.
And what are dates? Do they come off like palm trees?
I don't know what trees they come off of, but they grow like this. They're not dried anything.
Oh.
So this is going to be my final date. This is my 3rd date.
I know, you know what that means.
These little chocolate things are really good. You could film me talking. I don't know why I feel so good, but I'm gonna go with it. Eat this, put all this away, do all the dishes, go to bed, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow and let you know how I feel in the morning. Talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, y'all. So it is Tuesday, April 18th. I don't know if you can hear it, but there are birds chirping at like 5 in the morning, which is awesome. I love the spring. So I have some coconut water, which I'm about to put in my cup with some salt. Eating more salt and just more electrolytes is really helping my headaches. I have not woken up with a headache in 2 days when I have been having headaches for months, so that's awesome. I also am going to take my Linzes, and then I'm gonna take my Whole Foods multivitamin, which actually did not come up at all yesterday. I had no reflux from it, so I'm really happy about this. I actually did all the dishes last night, y'all, which I am super proud of. The sink is totally empty and everything is clean, which makes me happy. I have to wait 30 minutes after taking Linzes before I eat anything besides like coconut water or water. So I'm gonna let the Linzes settle and I'm gonna put away the dishes and prep my lunch for the day and my snack. And then I'll also make my Ceremonial Cacao. The collagen actually improved the texture so much. It made that drink so much richer and creamier to have the collagen, which was amazing. And since it tasted so good with the collagen in it, I'm actually going to add double the collagen this morning whenever I make it, and I'll show you guys that. But I want to be able to get up to a full serving of this in my morning hot cocoa, and a full serving is 20 grams, which is 18 grams of protein. So it's not a full 20 grams, it's 18 grams of protein, but that's still awesome, and I want to be getting that every morning from this. So the last thing I want to talk about before I get on to putting dishes away and prepping my lunch and all of that is how the dates affected me last night. I did feel pretty nauseous after the dates. I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot of dates, that was a lot of food in general that I ate yesterday. I did throw up a smallish amount a couple of times, but something that really helped last night was instead of like sitting down and just focusing on feeling nauseous and just feeling sad about it, instead of dwelling upon it and then just spending the next 2 hours sitting on the couch watching TV and then going to bed feeling nauseous, I was walking around for the next 2 hours because I did the dishes, which took about an hour. Then Robert and I put away some laundry and we broke down some boxes that had piled up, and then I took a shower. So I was just like walking around, working through the nausea, helping the dates digest, having a positive attitude about it, and just focusing my mind on other things like getting the dishes clean, getting the kitchen ready for today, and it helped so much. By the time I went to bed, I was no longer nauseous, and my stomach actually felt pretty light, which is amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna stop blabbering, I'm gonna get ready for the day, and I'll show you my cacao when I make it and my lunch as well whenever it's done being prepared. All the insides out of them and threw away the skins since the skins are hard to digest. And then I just have this container of white potatoes that's in the fridge. And so I put this container, I filled it with soup, I added extra salt, and then I put potato on top. And that's what I had for lunch yesterday. It was super good. And then these are very lightly steamed sugar snap peas to have as a snack prior to eating the cheese, which is still in the fridge. So yeah, I'm also bringing this really good quality cheddar cheese, which is naturally lactose free. This is the only dairy that I'm having on this quote unquote diet, is this good quality cheddar cheese for protein and fats. It's a snack. So the full 20 grams of collagen is in here. So when I poured this out, I don't know if you can see because it's kind of dark here, but like I got one of these big chunks. So it went up, I ended up with 36 grams of Ceremonial Cacao. And I think I'm just gonna go with it. And I guess it'll just be a larger portion than I normally have. Alrighty, so I've just been whisking it and I'm just bringing it to just before boiling, getting that ready. I already added the spices and everything. I ended up doing 2 cups of soy milk. The unsweetened kind is the one I still have more of. I did a cup of the unsweetened and then a cup of the sweetened, which I absolutely love how frothy it gets. So I filled my entire cup. And then because I made so much, I still have a little bit left over. So I'll just put that in the cup when I drink it down a little bit. Okay, it is 7:50. I am so freaking hungry. I'm so hungry, which is awesome. Normally I feel so sick that I barely get hungry, and I am definitely hungry. Robert and I just got back from our nightly walk, which is one of the things that we have actually been super consistent with over the past month. And it definitely helps my digestion to be doing a half an hour to an hour of a designated walk every single afternoon or evening, depending on when I work and all that. I'm so hungry, it's like hard to think. I'm about to heat up the soup. Maybe I should just eat my soup. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat my soup. So this is still cold. I'm about to heat this up. And as you can see, I am running out of the soup that I had in the fridge, so I'm gonna have to thaw some from the freezer for tomorrow. I added a bit of salt to it. I didn't add any extra ghee because it already has. So my soup is all heated up. And then I have taken out 2 of the things of super cubes and I'm gonna thaw them. They have to thaw for a good amount of time before you can take them out of the cube. So I'm gonna let those thaw for a while. My soup has to cool, so while my soup is cooling, I'm going to say a couple of things that I've been wanting to say about the way that I've been eating and the way that I've been spacing my meals, because that's also been really important to making myself feel better on this diet, which does have more fat, more protein, more volume than I normally eat, even though it is foods that I'm so far digesting pretty well. So I'm chewing all of my food super well if it involves chewing, which when I'm having the soups, it's pretty helpful the way that I've cooked it because the vegetables are already super soft. Probably what requires the most chewing is the steamed snow peas that I've been bringing to work. So in terms of spacing my meals, I've been trying to space my meals out at least 4 hours between each one. So I'm doing basically 4 meals a day right now. So my coconut water and my ceremonial cacao meal. My third meal is the snow peas and the cheddar cheese. And then my third meal is the soup with the potatoes. And then my fourth meal is the plain soup that I have for dinner. And then I guess I'm going to be doing the dates for dessert, but that's not one of, I guess I'm not counting that as one of the 4. That's just a little extra I'm having at night if I feel extra hungry. And I'm definitely going to have dates tonight because I'm already feeling extra hungry. So anyway, I'm trying to space my meals out as much as possible so that everything that I eat has as maximum time to digest before I put more food in, because if I don't do that, I know that I'm gonna make myself sick because of how slow my digestion is. And spacing everything out a lot is definitely helping. And then another thing that I've been doing is every time that I do eat, especially at work, I'm making sure to focus on the food and not distract myself. So not look at my phone, not answer emails, which is really hard when I'm at work. I just want to answer the email if I see it pop up or whatever, but I'm trying to just focus on the food, on the flavor of the food, on chewing the food thoroughly. And I'm also focusing really deeply on thinking positive thoughts about the food while I'm eating. So not thinking like, oh, is this going to make me sick? Am I going to feel bad? Thinking positive thoughts like, this is food that I've prepared for myself to nourish myself. This food is going to help me. Like, this food is nourishing. Just maybe that sounds silly, but I'm thinking really positive thoughts while I'm eating. Take deep breaths while I'm eating to try to get my body into the rest and digest kind of phase so that I can produce the maximum amount of digestive enzymes. Another thing that I've been doing is spacing out my water consumption. So I'm making sure that I drink the water like in between my meals as opposed to at my meals or near my meals. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not drinking any water an hour before I eat or an hour after I eat. Obviously in the morning, I'm making an exception for the coconut water for the electrolytes and stuff like that because I have that within half an hour of having my cacao. But while I'm at work, I try to have the water not on an hour of either side of anything that I'm eating, which definitely helps. And I'm doing the same at night as well. The last thing I wanted to mention that I'm doing is at work, I do a lot of frequent breaks to walk around, move my body, walk around outside, get that sunlight, and just get some more walking in. I get as much walking throughout the day as possible, which definitely helps with my digestion and it helps deal with the pain. I'm still having pain with these foods, but just way less pain. I'm having way less nausea and less vomiting with these foods so far, so I'm happy about that, but we'll see how it goes. It's a lot of chewing. That's how you start the digestion process. You gotta chew it really thoroughly. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's not really closing. I'm only gonna have 2 dates and then I'm stuffing it so full because I really like these. I love dessert, okay, dude? Soup is what you're failing to understand, is that I need the fridge soup and the freezer soup. Anyway, people of the vlog, this is what I wanted to show you. So I have determined that 2 super cubes, these have been thawing for about 2 hours, and they're thawed enough that I can break them up like this. So I'm transferring the soup from the super cubes to these so they can be fridge soup now. And I've determined that 2 super cubes fits in one of these. So I think this proves that I made enough soup for 6 days, which is perfect. That's awesome. So about a week's worth of soup was successfully made. I always feel pretty proud of myself when I wake up to a kitchen that is completely clean. So today is Wednesday, April 19th. I did have 3 dates with sunflower butter and chocolate last night because they're just so good. And they actually sat pretty well until right before I went to bed. I drank a little too much water and I made myself feel super sick. I have to be so careful about the water and when I'm timing it. And even though I drank the water almost 2 hours after I ate the dates, I still drank a little too much. If I drink a little too much water and I drink it in close proximity to any meals, I will feel so nauseous and in so much pain. And I asked Robert about that last night. I was like, do you ever be like, oh my gosh, I drank way too much water, I feel so sick? And he's like, no, that never happens to me. I'm like, okay, what about like with other liquids? He was like, no. Ever since I was young, this has happened to me, where if I drink too much water at once, I will be in so much pain and feel so sick. And I thought everyone experienced that. Maybe not. Anyway, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did yesterday morning. So same supplements, and then I'm gonna make the same amount of ceremonial cacao. I really liked that larger portion. I did have some pain from it because it was a lot to drink at once. But then once the pain subsided in about an hour and a half or so, it gave me more energy and I just felt more satiated by it because it had way more protein, because I had double the collagen and I had extra soy milk. So that drink ended up having 39 grams of protein, which was amazing. I put it into Chronometer and it told me. And I'll just deal with the pain and initially because I need to have more energy in the mornings. I'm amazed that I've not thrown these up at all. That makes me super happy because I really am glad to be getting more vitamins in because I definitely don't get all the nutrients that I need from food when I put it into Chronometer and I look at it and everything. And then Lynn says, and then I gotta get the coconut water. But anyway, I'm gonna take this stuff, drink my salt water with coconut water, and yeah, just clean up the kitchen, pack my lunch. Oh, the last thing I wanted to show was the type of cheese that I have. This is not the same cheese that I was eating, but it's the type of cheese that I'm going to eat probably going forward because it's cheaper than the orange cheddar that I'd bought. But it's just the Whole Foods brand. It's organic, mild cheddar. And then hard cheeses like this, especially cheddars, are basically lactose free. Bethany, in her book, she recommends the only dairy you should eat is Greek yogurt, but that's not gonna work for me. Because whenever I have Greek yogurt, and I observed this over the course of months of like making my pain worse by doing this, whenever I have Greek yogurt, it makes my pain cripplingly worse because I just can't digest the lactose or whatever's in it. And the same thing with milk, I've noticed. Even though I've been a proponent that dairy doesn't bother me forever, honestly, it really does. Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm either have become lactose intolerant or just with how bad my whole system is right now, just can't digest the lactose anymore. I don't know. But all I know is the only dairy that seems to work really well is hard cheeses, and I like including this in my diet because it has so much protein and good fats. Just so you guys know how much cheese I'm eating per time that I have cheese, I divided that one block of cheese into 3 separate containers, and this is ready to drink now, so I'm gonna enjoy it. I need to froth it up again before I pour it in my cup though. Okay guys, it's Wednesday night. I'm not trying to end the vlog on a negative note at all. I think the changes that I've made this week have been really positive. I've definitely learned this week that it is so much more than the foods that I'm eating that affects my GI problems. Not only is it the foods that I'm eating, it's also when I'm eating those foods, the combinations I'm eating those foods in, how those foods are prepared, and like when I drink water, like the mindset I'm in when I'm eating, like everything seems to affect it. And if I do one thing wrong, everything just goes, basically I feel sick if I do like one thing wrong. So case in point tonight, I was really hungry when I came home from work and I just wanted a really tasty snack. So I had some dates with sunflower butter and chocolate. Instead of like going on a walk and then eating my soup, like instead of going through that whole process, I came home and I went right to eating the dates. Then I was kind of thirsty, so I said, okay, I'll have some coconut water. So I had some coconut water, but having something rich like the dates with all that fat from the sunflower butter and the chocolate, and then having coconut water has a bit more in it than water, like it has electrolytes and sugars and stuff, but having water with the dates did not go well. So I ate the dates and then I drank the coconut water on Robert's and my evening walk. And then at the end of the walk, I started to feel super sick. I threw up at the end of the walk. We were outside, so it was fine. And then ever since we've been back from the walk, I've just felt super tired. I've had pain. I've had a lot of nausea, and I just don't feel good. I also have no appetite, so I will not be eating anything else tonight. I will not be eating any soup. I will not be eating anything. I feel extremely sick because I ate things out of order, and I combined essentially water with an actual meal. I wish I could get to the point with my GI issues where I didn't have to feel so constricted by rules in order to be able to feed myself. Because the past few days, I've definitely eaten more calories and more nutrients than I'm normally able to eat in a week by focusing on smaller portions of easily digestible foods with really good quality ingredients, chewing my food really well, being positive while I eat, like making all these changes. That's really helped. Spacing the water, spacing the meals, everything. But if I do one thing wrong, it's game over. So it's just exhausting mentally and physically to do all of this. One of the big advantages of the liquid diet was that it was a lot less work intensive than this. It wasn't nearly as healing as this. And literally the day I posted the video about the liquid diet working, I started throwing up the protein shakes, and not just throwing up small amounts of them. When I was driving home, the day that video went up about the liquid diet working super well, I threw up so much protein shake all the way back to the protein shake that I drank at the beginning of the day and the kombucha all over my clothes and my body on the drive home from work the day that video went up. And it all went downhill with the liquid diet from there. So yeah, started reacting to my smoothies, the whole thing. And the liquid diet wasn't healing because it was just keeping me in the place where I was. Like I wasn't in, like I felt better on it than I did just eating random solid food, but it went bad real quick. So I think this diet's a lot better than anything I've done in a while. And I'm really happy with it, but it's just so much work. Like I'm freaking exhausted right now and I'm about to have to go do dishes for an hour again, which is why I'm ending the vlog here because I don't have the energy to vlog tomorrow morning. And also I'm gonna eat the exact same I did today, except not make this mistake again. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. If you watched this far, thank you. See you in the next vlog. I hope this update was helpful.